Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of This Week in Philadelphia Sports, where, as you might have guessed it, we go over everything that's happened this week in Philadelphia sports. Again, if you're new to this channel and you do enjoy this sort of content, it will be amazing if you could hit that subscribe button. And as always, your daily dose of Philadelphia sports coverage can be found at phillysportsnetwork.com. Today was a weird day to wake up, wasn't it? There was a sort of emptiness in the air, a feeling of what could have been, and a hope for so much more, which basically sums up my love life for the last year. But we are, of course, talking about the Philadelphia Eagles and their heartbreaking loss to the Seattle Seahawks. And it's not heartbreaking for the fact that the Eagles lost the game. I think we all knew going into it they were underdogs and it would have been an almighty win if they could pull it off, but it was heartbreaking in the way they lost it, in a game which in many ways summed up everything that went wrong with this Eagles season. But the biggest X factor of it all was the Jadeveon Clowney illegal hit on Carson Wentz, something that is bound to be discussed for weeks and weeks to come, maybe even beyond that. Was it illegal? Was it safe? I think it's safe to say there was malicious intent behind it. It's certainly not the only time that Clowney has gone out of his way to injure an Eagles quarterback. It's just the ruthlessness he plays with. Now, whether that ruthlessness was intended to take Carson Wentz out of the game or to deliver a head-to-head hit, that's not for me to say. Either way, it was damn illegal. It should have been flagged. It wasn't, and as a result, the Eagles had to play the rest of the game with Josh McCown, who, can we just say, went out and put on an absolute show. Like, bless his heart, sacked 6 times, completed 18 of 24 passes, didn't turn it over, and kept the Eagles within a chance of winning. He wasn't fantastic, he wasn't perfect, he wasn't a game-changing QB, but he kept the offense alive long enough to give them a shot. He delivered a strike to Shelton Gibson that earned a PI inside the red zone. He was hammering tight ends over the middle. Josh McCown went out and gave it everything he had, and for better or worse, win or lose, that's all a fan could ask. And I think, you know what, by the end of this season, through all the noise, all the injury, all the upset, all the heartbreak, all the stress, all the losses, the fact that this team did go out right until the bitter end with 110%, you can only be satisfied with that. Now, yes, it's bitter, it didn't go as planned. It is upsetting that the Eagles fell just short of the mark for a second time this season against a team which on their day, I think they can absolutely beat. But when you fail to convert on a second 4th down conversion, the Seahawks get the ball back with around 3 minutes to go, and that defense goes out and gets another quick 3 and out. Even though the game is practically finished, they go out again and give this team a lifeline. You can't ask for much more than that. Fletcher Cox balled out, the defensive line was feasting, the linebackers existed, but more than anything, this team played with heart, and I think that through everything, it is such a relief to see that. Like, this team could have folded, it could have packed its bags and went home the second Carson Wentz went down. It didn't, and it's a testament to the culture that Doug Peterson has instilled within that locker room since the very first day he walked in. That emotional intelligence, that desire, that ability to galvanize a broken locker room, he's done it time and time again, he'll continue to do so. Then you've got Carson Wentz, who after he is concussed after the game, is going around locker room stalls apologizing to teammates. Like, you couldn't ask for a better leader. I said it last week, we have literally seen more from Carson Wentz in this last month than we have in all of the last 3 years combined. This has finally become Carson Wentz's team, a team that is united around him, rallied behind him, and wants to see him succeed. There's no more time for this anonymous source BS, this anonymous article stuff from Philly Voice in the offseason. We know who Carson Wentz is, and for me, that's probably the biggest takeaway of the year. But really quickly, can we just talk about this whole Carson Wentz is injury-prone argument? Because it's I don't know where it started, but it feels that there are people in this world who believe Carson Wentz is injury prone and are using a concussion to add to their argument, which is a bit counterproductive, because it's like me calling you a bad driver and then taking a hammer and smashing your right hand and then criticising your driving within the next 2 minutes. Clearly, your manky hand is going to play a role. An injury-prone quarterback is someone that is prone to injury. Wentz, believe it or not, survived a 16-game season without a single one of them. He can play like a daredevil at times, but I think he's come a long way since his rookie year, and it is so unfair to put someone literally targeting your head as a label for being injury-prone. Doesn't make sense. The game, as I said earlier, was filled with everything that made this Eagles season take at least 3 inches off my hairline. If you want a Jason Peters holding penalty, we've got that. If you want drops on crucial downs, sorry, I mean, I know it's heartbreaking, but we've got that. Do you want sticks defense on 3rd and long, allowing a conversion not once, but twice for good measure, injected into my veins. Ultimately, the playoffs would be an environment where everything that was plaguing the Eagles all season long would come back to haunt them if they couldn't correct it. And take Carson Wentz out of the equation, that happened, and ultimately it cost the team. There were some bad decisions on game calling. I still don't agree with both fourth down conversion attempts, knowing that you went right down to the end zone to begin with and still couldn't convert. I don't know why you wouldn't bring that down to a situation where one more field goal would win you the game if you've been money all afternoon and you can't get in the end zone. But that's just me, and it's easy for me to sit here and say that as someone that literally refuses to punt on 4th and 15 on Madden, alright? It's hard. I think the fact Doug did go for it conveyed confidence in his offense, probably kept that group a little bit more hungry, and that, for better or worse, a head coach we've come to know and love. Someone that lives or dies by the sword, that is stubborn for the right and wrong reasons, and will go all in on himself and that right call 100% of the time. Whether it succeeds or not, the analytics don't lie, it's the better thing to do, and he went for it and it didn't work. It is what it is. But was this Eagles season a success or a failure? And that is a really tough argument to look at, because on the surface, going into week 1, you've got one of the best rosters in the NFL, one of the hot young quarterbacks in the league, and you go out, lay an egg against the Redskins, somehow turn it around in the second half. Let's not forget, the early signs of a downfall were there when they were being blown out by Washington in week 1. Then fast forward 8 weeks, and you've got turmoil, you've got guaranteed wins against Dallas, you've got Zach Brown being cut. It is a nightmare. Orlando Scandrick is being Orlando Scandrick, although today he did get his comeuppance and undisputed, so well done Shannon Sharp, I love you. But the way this team rebounded from all that noise, found that resiliency, and just got themselves back into the big dance, redeeming themselves from squandered opportunities. It's like Boromir in Lord of the Rings, alright? He tries to take the ring from Frodo and then just gets shot about 7 times by that big mean orc because he wanted to save Merry and Pippin. If you haven't seen Lord of the Rings, sorry. They redeemed themselves, but ultimately this season was a missed opportunity. I don't think they're going to get a chance again to have a roster that strong, that talented, with that much potential, and a schedule that weak in a division that week. It was there for the taking. Ultimately, injuries, setback, lack of discipline, missed tackles, drops, penalties, anything you want has all been bundled into a missed opportunity that will sting. But the good news is they can rebound from this, and there is a crucial offseason ahead. So guys, on that note, let me know, what do you want to see? Do you want to see more? Do you want to see draft coverage? Do you want prospect interviews? Do you want free agency pieces? Do you want film rooms? Is there a player you want singled out? Let me know, because this offseason, alright, we're building this together. I need your help with this. I think from an expectation standpoint, the season was underwhelming, but in every failure, there is success, and the success we learned this year was that Carson Wentz can step in, lead this team as a franchise quarterback, and take them on a run when needed. You can't expect it 16 games a season, but as any franchise quarterback should, with the game on the line, the guy can get it done no matter what the situation, no matter how high the pressure or how many doubt him, he goes and gets it done. And this team is finally, through a youth infusion, through energized practice squad promotees, are rallied around their quarterback, and that's what I'm coming to see. That's what I like, and that's the success and the failure. Expectations, future. But while we're talking expectations and failures, the Flyers have ended a 12-day, 6-game road trip, which isn't a holiday, alright? It sounds like a holiday, it's not. They're on a 3-game losing streak, it didn't go well. They went to Vegas and got unlucky, sorry, and then got absolutely smashed 6-2 by the Coyotes. Or is it Coyotes, because that's how it's spelled? But if we're talking about the World Juniors, then Flyers prospect Igor Zamula and Russia earned silver medals, and Adam Ginning, the club's former 2nd-round pick, earned himself a bronze, so that was good. The Philadelphia 76ers, meanwhile, believe it or not, are on a loss streak, because it wouldn't be on-brand Philadelphia sports if they were winning right now. They've lost 4 in a row. Joel Embiid got manhandled by Clint Capella the other night, and I've got no idea what's gone on there. And that's the most perplexing thing with Joel Embiid, is that at times he will be the most dominant player on the floor, most dominant player in the league, and at others he just looks lackadaisical, he looks fatigued, he looks slow, and I think that's always going to be a debate. So the Sixers need some help, they need some floor spacing options up towards the trade deadline, and they're still struggling to implement Al Horford, who has shot just 36.5% from the floor. There was always that worry, wasn't there, of like trying to take a center, move into power forward, especially with Embiid on the same court. Like, can you get that much girth on the same floor at the same time? It's been a challenge for this Sixers team, and whether they can figure it out or not, I think, could likely define their season. No one won't let you down. Philly Sports Network merchandise, which you can grab down at the link below. If you want to support the brand, you can absolutely do so, and you can look good doing it. You've got t-shirts, long sleeve, Christmas jumpers if you want them for next year, all of them down there. But just a massive thank you to you guys as well for sticking around this channel for so long, for supporting us through the highs and the lows of this Eagles season. We have seen the rise of Cravon LeBlanc, and of course, Miles Sanders and Boston Scott, and some amazing memories like Greg Ward Jr.'s first touchdown. Then there was the Miami Dolphins game. But through it all, you guys have been so consistent, so supportive, and we could not thank you enough. And we promise you, we've got a lot planned this offseason. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of This Week in Philadelphia Sports. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Liam Jenkins PSN. I'll see you soon.